Before we begin, let me ask you something honestly. How many times have you told yourself, I will start tomorrow, I will do it later, I just need a little more time? And somehow, that later never comes. Days pass, deadlines approach, stress increases, and suddenly we find ourselves rushing to finish something at the last moment. If this sounds familiar to you, then you are not alone. Millions of people struggle with the same problem. A problem that silently steals our productivity, our confidence, and sometimes even our happiness. That problem is called procrastination. But what if procrastination is not simply laziness? What if it is something deeper? What if understanding it properly could completely change the way you work and live? Hello friends, welcome back to channel where we bring you the summaries of books that have the power to change your life. In today's video, we will talk about the book The Now Habit, written by Neil Fiore. This book is for those who are struggling with procrastination, meaning the habit of delaying work. If you are also troubled by this habit and want to leave it, then this video is for you. Because today we will not only understand why procrastination happens, but also how we can overcome it. So let's get started without wasting time. Chapter 1. Understanding Procrastination. What is procrastination? Before solving any problem, the first step is to understand it, and that is exactly where Neil Fiore begins. First of all, it is important to understand what procrastination is. Many people think procrastination simply means being lazy, but according to Neil Fiore, the reality is very different. Neil Fiore explains that this is not just laziness or the habit of delaying work, but a deep psychological problem. This means procrastination is not about a lack of ability. It is about emotions. Often we delay work because we have guilt, fear, and self-doubt in our minds. These emotions quietly influence our behavior. These three feelings together stop us from working because we feel that we will not be able to do that work properly, or we will fail in it. And when the mind begins to fear failure, it tries to escape from the task. The roots of procrastination are hidden in our experiences from childhood until now. Many of our beliefs about success and failure come from early experiences. If we were taught in childhood that we should fear failure, then even when we grow up, we fear doing any big or difficult task. This fear quietly stays in the background of our mind. We feel that if we do that work and fail, people will make fun of us, or we will feel ashamed of ourselves. And because of this fear, our mind chooses the easier option. Avoidance. For this reason, we keep delaying work, and it becomes our habit. At first, it may happen occasionally, but slowly, it becomes a pattern. Neil Fiore tells that this habit of procrastination gradually spreads to every aspect of our lives. It begins with small delays, then it spreads to bigger responsibilities. It not only affects our work but also has a bad effect on our relationships, our health, and our mental health. Stress increases, confidence decreases, and we begin to feel stuck. That is why it is very important to remove it. And the good news is that procrastination is not permanent. It is something we can overcome. In this book, Fiore has given some great techniques by which you can overcome procrastination and live a happy, balanced life. Chapter 2. The Vicious Cycle of Procrastination. The Maze of Procrastination. Now we will talk about the maze in which we get stuck. Procrastination is not just a single action, it is a cycle that repeats again and again. And the longer it continues, the harder it becomes to escape. When we delay a task, we feel that we have gotten rid of that work, but in reality, we make that task even more difficult because the work is still there, waiting. And the longer we avoid it, the heavier it feels. As time passes, the pressure of that task increases, and the burden of guilt on us also increases. That guilt slowly grows in our mind. This guilt keeps pinching us from inside and puts us under even more stress. Neil Fiore explains this maze beautifully. When we delay a task, we feel a little relief at that time, but that relief is temporary because that task comes back in front of us, and now it feels even more difficult and scary than before. And because the task feels bigger and scarier, we delay it again. Then we start delaying it further, which increases the guilt further. This cycle continues until either we decide to do the work or the deadline comes standing in front of us. Many times, the deadline becomes the only reason we finally complete the work. But this creates unnecessary stress and pressure. To break this cycle, we have to change our thinking. Fiore tells that we have to recognize this cycle and understand that procrastination is not going to benefit us, but it will put us in more trouble. Awareness is the first step to breaking the pattern. We have to make a habit of doing our work on time so that we can avoid guilt and stress and complete our work easily. And once we break this cycle, we begin to feel more confident and relaxed. Now that we understand how procrastination works and how it traps us in a cycle of guilt and delay, the next important step is to understand one of its biggest causes. Because many times the real reason we procrastinate is not laziness, it is fear. And among all the fears that hold us back, one fear stands above the rest: the fear of failure. Chapter 3. Overcoming the fear of failure. How to let go of the fear of failure. One of the biggest reasons for procrastination is the fear of failure. Many people assume they delay work because they lack motivation. But in reality, they delay work because they are afraid of what might happen if they try. We often delay work out of fear of what will happen if we fail. Questions begin to appear in our minds. What will people say? What if I make mistakes? What if I embarrass myself? What will people say? How much shame will we feel ourselves? These thoughts slowly create pressure in our minds. This fear is so deep that even before starting a task, we start looking for excuses to delay it. Instead of beginning the work, we search for reasons not to start. Neil Fiore teaches us to deal with this fear, telling us that first of all, we have to accept to ourselves that we are not perfect. Perfection is not required to begin. Perfection is not required to learn. Perfection is not required to grow. We should accept that failure is a part of life and it is the best way to learn something new and move forward. Every mistake contains a lesson. Every failure contains experience. And every experience helps us improve. Fiore says that we should trust ourselves and move forward by taking small steps. Small steps reduce fear. Small steps build confidence. By this, our confidence will gradually increase and we will be able to do big tasks easily. Confidence is not something that appears suddenly. It is something that grows through action. Fiore also emphasizes that we should consider failure as an opportunity to learn, not a measure of our worth. Failure does not define who we are. It simply shows us what we can improve. When we adopt this mindset, we allow ourselves to work more openly. We stop being afraid of making mistakes. Because of this, our performance improves, and we feel free from the fear that has gripped us for so long. And once that fear disappears, starting work becomes much easier. Chapter 4. Guilt-free play. Balance between work and fun. Now, we will talk about a very unique concept, which Neil Fiore has named guilt-free play. This idea may seem surprising at first, because most of us believe the opposite. Often we think that we should complete all our work first, and then we will get time to have fun or rest. This is the mindset many of us grew up with. Work first, enjoyment later. But this thinking reduces our productivity even more, because when we think in this way, we do not see any end to the work. Work never truly finishes. There is always something left to do. And because the work never ends, we never allow ourselves to relax. Fiore explains that we should take time for guilt-free play in our daily routine. This means that we should take time for fun and rest without any sense of guilt. This idea completely changes how we think about productivity. It is very important that we allow ourselves to experience rest and happiness for some time, because our brain cannot stay focused forever. It needs recovery. It needs relaxation. When we allow ourselves to do this, our mind feels refreshed, and we get new energy to work. Rest restores focus. Rest improves creativity. Rest increases productivity. Furthermore, guilt-free play recharges both our mind and body, allowing us to focus more on work. Instead of feeling exhausted, we begin to feel energized. Fiore also tells that another benefit of guilt-free play is that it keeps our mind away from stress and anxiety. Whenever we take a break from work and have fun or rest, our brain gets the time it needs to come out of stress and feel fresh. This balance between work and relaxation makes us more productive in the long run. Chapter 5. The Unschedule. How to make your schedule to overcome procrastination. Neil Fiore has given a very effective method, which he has named the Unschedule. This technique is one of the most powerful ideas in the book. Usually, we make our schedule in such a way that we prioritize our work first, and then take out time for other things. But Fiore tells us that reversing this method can be more beneficial. Instead of filling our schedule only with work, we begin by scheduling rest and enjoyment first. The Unschedule means that you make a schedule of your day in such a way that, first of all, you take out time for yourself, such as time for fun, exercising, or spending time with friends. This might sound strange at first, but it works surprisingly well. Only after this you schedule your work. In this way, you signal your mind that you will get a reward after doing the work. Your brain begins to associate work with reward. Instead of seeing work as punishment, it begins to see it as a step toward enjoyment. With this technique, not only will your mind be willing to work, but you will not delay it either. Another big advantage of the Unschedule is that it makes you feel guilt-free while working, because you have already taken out time for your fun and relaxation. Therefore, when you work, you do not feel that you are missing something. Because of this, your flow of work remains, and you feel more productive. Chapter 6. Working in the flow state. How to create flow in work. Now let's talk about a state that every productive person wants to experience, the state of flow. The state of flow is when you are completely immersed in a task and do not realize the time. Hours pass, but it feels like minutes. This is the state in which you fully enjoy your work and are able to focus on it completely. Working in a flow state is not only productive, but it also makes you experience happiness while working. Work stops feeling like a burden. It begins to feel meaningful. Neil Fiore tells that to work in a flow state, first of all, we should divide our work into small parts. Large tasks often feel overwhelming, but small tasks feel manageable. When we divide a big task into small parts, that work feels easier to us, and we remain motivated to do it. By completing small goals, our confidence increases, and we get more immersed in the work. Each completed step builds momentum. Fiore also tells that to achieve the flow state, we should avoid distractions. Distractions are the biggest enemy of deep work. When we work, we should remove distractions from around us so that our attention is completely focused on the work. Apart from this, we should prepare our work environment in such a way that it helps us to focus, such as working in a clean workspace, good lighting, and a quiet atmosphere. A supportive environment helps the mind enter the flow state more easily. Now that we understand how to create a productive environment and how to enter a flow state, there is another powerful quality that helps us overcome procrastination. Because defeating procrastination is not a one-time event, it is a process, and that process requires persistence and resilience. Chapter 7. Persistence and Resilience. Staying firm and courageous in work to overcome procrastination, persistence, meaning trying continuously, is very important. Many people begin their work with enthusiasm, but stop when things become difficult. But persistence means continuing, even when progress feels slow. Neil Fiore tells that we should look at our work like a marathon, not a sprint. A sprint ends quickly. But a marathon requires endurance, patience, and steady progress. This means that we will have to be patient to achieve our goal and take small steps continuously. Progress happens gradually, step by step, day by day. Persistence does not mean that you just keep working without thinking. It does not mean blindly repeating the same effort. It means that whenever you feel that you are stuck in work, stop, think, and adopt a new method. Sometimes the problem is not the effort, Sometimes the problem is the strategy. Sometimes we need to change our approach so that we can work more effectively. Fiore tells that we should learn from failures and consider them a part of our work. Failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is part of the journey towards success. Resilience, the strength to face difficulties, is also an important part of persistence. Resilience gives us the courage to keep going when things become difficult. When we get stuck in a difficult task, we should not give up, but we should face that difficulty and look for ways to solve it. Challenges are not roadblocks. They are opportunities to grow stronger. Fiore tells that when we face our difficulties and solve them, our self-confidence increases and we get ready for future challenges. Each challenge we overcome prepares us for the next one. Chapter 8. Building Self-Confidence. How to create belief in yourself. Now we move to another powerful element that helps us defeat procrastination. Self-confidence. Without confidence, even simple tasks can feel overwhelming. Self-confidence is not something that comes in one day, but it is a journey. Confidence is built slowly through experience. Neil Fiore tells that self-confidence gradually increases by completing small tasks. Small wins create momentum. When you complete a small task, your morale increases and you get ready to do the next task. Each success strengthens belief. Fiore says that the best way to increase self-confidence is to divide your work into small pieces. Large tasks can feel intimidating, but small tasks feel manageable. When you complete every small piece, congratulate yourself and give yourself credit for that work. Recognizing your progress is important. Because of this, your confidence will gradually increase and you will be able to do big tasks easily. Confidence grows through action, not through waiting. To increase self-confidence, we should also talk positively to ourselves. The way we talk to ourselves shapes our mindset. Negative self-talk like, "I cannot do this," or "I will not be able to do it," weakens our self-confidence. These thoughts slowly reduce our motivation. Instead, we should talk positively to ourselves, like, "I can do this," or "I have done this before and can do it now." Positive language strengthens belief. With positive self-talk, our morale increases and we remain excited to work. Our mindset becomes supportive rather than critical. Chapter 9. The Power of Positive Self-Talk. How to talk positively to yourself. Now we come to a very powerful concept that can completely change our mindset. Self-talk. To overcome procrastination, we have to change our self-talk, the way we talk to ourselves. Many times, the biggest critic in our life is not someone else. It is our own mind. Neil Fiore tells that we often talk negatively to ourselves, which stops us from working, such as, "This work is very difficult," "I cannot do it," or "I will fail in it." These thoughts silently influence our actions. Negative self-talk has a very bad effect on our mental health and productivity. It weakens our motivation, it increases our stress, and it reduces our confidence. When we talk negatively to ourselves, our self-confidence falls, and we start delaying work. Our brain begins to associate the task with difficulty and fear. Fiore teaches us that we should do positive self-talk with ourselves, such as, "I can do this work," "I have done this before, and if I try, I can complete it." Positive words encourage action. With positive self-talk, our morale increases, and we get motivation to do our work. Our brain becomes more willing to begin the task. When we talk positively to ourselves, our brain gets ready to complete that work, and instead of delaying it, we get engaged in doing it. Positive self-talk not only increases our productivity, but also makes us mentally strong. Over time, this habit transforms our mindset. Chapter 10. Action Steps to Beat Procrastination. Action Plan to Defeat Procrastination. Now we will talk about the practical action steps that Neil Fiore has given in this book so that we can defeat procrastination forever. Understanding procrastination is important, but action is what creates change. The first step is to divide your work into small parts and complete each part within a certain time limit. Large tasks create overwhelm, Small tasks create progress. Fiore tells that when we divide our work into small parts, it feels more manageable to us, and we remain motivated to do it. Each completed step gives us encouragement. Apart from this, when we complete one part, we get a sense of achievement, which encourages us to do the next part. This builds momentum. The second step is to adopt the Unschedule. Make a schedule of your day in such a way that along with work, there is also time for fun and rest. Balance increases productivity. When we adopt this type of schedule, we experience guilt-free play, which increases our productivity. The third step is to do positive self-talk with yourself and motivate yourself. Your inner voice should become your supporter. Whenever you are facing a difficult task, say positive things to yourself and believe in yourself that you can do that work. Belief strengthens action. Because of this, your confidence will increase, and instead of delaying the work, you will get engaged in doing it. By adopting these steps, you can easily defeat procrastination and achieve your goals. These techniques are simple but powerful. This will not only increase your productivity but will also make your life easier and happier. So friends, this was the detailed summary of the Now habit. If you are also troubled by the habit of delaying work, then definitely try the techniques given in this book. These techniques will not only increase your productivity, but will also make your life balanced and happy. If you liked this video, then like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel so that you keep getting more such life-changing content. We'll meet again in the next video. Until then, keep hustling, keep growing.